Should I speak English like this, or... Honestly, I think I'm gonna speak English like this. Yeah. So, yesterday, So, yesterday, I was looking in the window. It was dark out, so the window was like a mirror, and I saw myself, and I thought, well, am I handsome? Yeah, I think so. Tell me, doesn't matter if you're a man or a woman, am I handsome or am I handsome? I say I am. God damn it! My nose itches at exactly that moment. That does not increase my appeal physically. But I'm not gonna stand with an itching nose for 20 minutes. That's how long I'm planning this to be. So, I thought I'm not gonna look like this forever. I should record it. Because it's gonna be interesting to, as an older person, see what I used to look like back when I was young. Back when I looked like this. So, this video is primarily meant for myself. But to anyone watching, you are warmly welcome to watch it with me. I am a person interested in linguistics. You know, smart people hobbies. So, I was watching a video about the oldest recorded languages, and I thought to myself, well, the guy says that they're the same language. I vehemently disagree. The way Egyptians spoke back 5,000 years ago when they wrote their hieroglyphs is nothing like Coptic. Those are definitely two different languages. But how old is a language? Well, the oldest recording of my own language, Latvian language, is, well, it's from the Middle Ages technically, but I'd actually say it's just 150 years ago with the young Latvian movement. You see, what was recorded before that was German Latvian. Like, look at the grammar and the syntax, and it's very going in the German direction. Our ancestors did not speak like that. Only young Latvieši, who are true Latvieši, actually recorded the language of how it was. But it is... So how do we figure out how our ancestors spoke before that? Before we started writing? Well, the answer is folk songs. Because to preserve the rhythm of the song, it often preserves old grammar too. Because the new grammar wouldn't rhyme like it should. So I thought about the folk songs, and the one I remembered was this one. Strauja kraujo petece, strauja kraujo petece, gar brališanam durvimi, gar brališanam durvim. Nedrīkstēju pārjāti, nedrīkstēju pārjāti, baidās manis kumeliņš, baidās manis kumeliņš. Jāj, brālīti, droši pāri, jāj, brālīti, droši pāri, neslīgs tavis kumeliņš, neslīgs tavis kumeliņš. Apakšā ir baltas smiltis, apakšā ir baltas smiltis, virsū skaidrais ūdentiņš, virsū skaidrais ūdentiņš. That's enough. It's not like you English people understand what I'm actually singing. Anyways, the part to which the attention should be drawn is the neslīgs tavis kumeliņš. Jāj, brālīt, droši pāri, neslīgs tavis kumeliņš. Modern Latvieši wouldn't say neslīgs tavis kumeliņš. They would say neslīgs tavs kumeliņš. So you can see how the old grammar is preserved in the folk song. The problem with folk songs is you can't date them properly. The oldest folk song you can understand is in fact the oldest form of the language you can understand. Because people change the folk song when it has words they don't understand. Krauja, for example, is a word most Latvians don't understand at all, so in most varieties of this song, it's been replaced with Strauja straujo petece, whereas I sing Strauja kraujo petece because that's what my parents did. Krauja does have meaning. It's in Lietuviešu language, it means blood. And this song, contrary to popular belief, is indeed a war song. You don't cut sand with a sword. And that doesn't result in water flowing on your steed. You cut the enemy, and that spills blood on your steed. The most obvious giveaway that that's what the song is about is actually the last line, where it's said that I burn a fire in a river so that my enemies would be warm. You cannot burn fire in water, and you don't burn a fire so your enemies would be warm. You are burning a pyre to burn the dead. Also, a thing I love about speaking to a mirror rather than speaking to a camera, that's the reason I've placed... The camera is my phone and it's on a box. I can't stick to a consistent form of English. I speak... Well, maybe I should speak some British. You know, just 'cause if I'm already speaking in multiple forms of the language, maybe we should add some more. Do I sound as a convincing upper-class Britishman? I don't know. They would never say, I don't know. Anyways, when I speak to... If I don't have a crowd in front of me, if I don't have a mirror in front of me, I am prone to doing this, because I like looking at my hands. Whereas, if I see a mirror, I can look at my hands even as I do this. So, my hand movements are much better when looking at a camera. I don't just stand there. I mean, technically I'm standing there, but that's because I can't walk there, and I don't want to walk out of the view of the camera. I kind of have to stay here. Anyways, to the next thing which interests me. Again, I am smart. Very smart. My hobbies are crunching numbers and thinking about what I do in scenarios I'll never be in, and what I do with power I'll never have. So, my favorite thought experiment, which I started a year ago, is what I do with godlike powers. Like, seriously, I can do whatever. I have godlike powers. I can fly through solid rock, I can poof anything into existence, and read people's minds, although I'll never do that. My morality doesn't allow of it. Maybe I would sometimes if it's really important, but most of it, nah. I don't read people's minds, that's not ethical. The first thing I learned in this thought experiment is that I am too bloodthirsty. Yeah. But now knowing that, I can adjust how I act to be more restrained when it comes to violence. Anyways, the more interesting thing on what I do is live in a castle in the middle of a forest where no one could get to me, because if I don't interact with people, I can't hurt anyone. You know, having godlike powers would actually be a danger to everyone. But ultimately, I think it would be for the greater good. Because if I do learn of a great injustice or evil that is going on somewhere, I will go there and I will fix it my way. So all the world leaders would have to be accountable, because everyone is accountable to a god, no matter if you're a king or a dictator or whatnot. And so I would be like a corruption purging force, asking people to rule like they should rule, rightfully, righteously, fairly. Anyways, what I was also crunching the numbers about is... Be right back. The maps. I will put it on screen so you can watch it that way. I've come to that conclusion. Probably can't see very well in black and white. What is this map? Well, I was thinking, well, if for some reason I had to live in the USA, where would I live? Well, there's technically the funny joke among my people, like, where would you live in America? The answer is Canada. You can actually see that Canada does fill in with where I would live. Could live. Make a guess as to what have I colored here. What is the first criteria for where I would settle down if I were forced to live in America for some reason? For those of you who guessed climate, you are correct. The first thing is climate. This is the same climate as it is in Latvia, and I just wouldn't handle the hot parts in the south, and here it's too continental. It's wet. It's just different. I want it to be like my home, so I would live here. And then I factored in the second factor, which is demographics. You know, again, if I don't ever plan to leave my homeland, so if I did, I would go live somewhere that is similar to my homeland, and here the demographics are similar. Yeah. Much more to say about that. Oh yeah, back to the dating of folk songs. In some cases, you actually can date them. Look at my ring. I like rings. They're very nice. Shiny objects. I have many of them. I especially like how they sound. The audio quality is probably not good enough, but I really like silver. The first ring I ever got was this one, which I got from finishing school. The next one I got was this one, which I think is the most beautiful. It's nice, it's heavy, it's thick, yet it's shiny and everything. But the thing about these rings, which as you can see, they are rings, they are totally solid. From the 9th to the 11th century, Kurši made rings which are like spirals. They're easier to make, easier to put on and off, and so they are spirals. And there are folk songs among our people, though the language is Latviašu rather than Kuršu. They sing of Laima or Saule wearing, our goddesses, wearing such rings. And then you can figure out that that folk song was originally made in the 9th to 10th century. Sometimes you can date them, but most of the time you can't. It is both a blessing and a curse that I find it much more entertaining to be in my own thoughts than to do anything IRL. You know, real life just doesn't compete with fantasy. It's true. More stuff! I made this. Well, to read it you'll have to... Again, I'll put it on screen. What is it? Well, I had a dream a couple of days ago, and I wrote it down and translated it to English just as an example text. I translated to standard English spelling, which I then converted to a different orthography, so that I could show Dad what English didn't exactly... The English people never spoke like this, but it does show what the written language used to be like. If you can understand English, listen. Inte ream everything looked real, but at the same time it was taking place in Halflife. I with the class was driving to the small town where we entered a glass skyscraper. We went into a concrete room, storage room, where there were infected people like from the quarry, and nobody was shocked by this thing. Well, you get the idea. That's what actually written English looks like. That is why English have the second highest rate of native dyslexia among European languages. Because the spoken language, which I'm speaking to you right now, there's no way from the spoken language to put down on paper the standard written language. They're two different languages from my point of view. Yeah. I would sign off, but there's one more thing to show. Best purchase this year. A proper coat. Well, a coat is a coat. There's not much to say about it. Honestly, I feel a lot better than what I see when I look in the mirror. It's not perfectly comfortable because modern mass producing. Coats are comfortable when they're tailor-made for you specifically. Some people get lucky and get a coat that fits them perfectly. I am not one of those people. Though average size for my nation among foreigners, I am considered large. So, the joints aren't perfect. But the reason I love it so much is because I feel that I am very fashionable. You know, how you feel you look is actually very nice. So, best purchase this year. I think there was something else I had to say, but I just forgot. Oh well. Latvia won't be missing out on it. Again, I am also demonstrating how I speak. There are currently 2 languages I speak, so there are 2 videos. Those who can understand both languages get more information, because though the overlap is overwhelming, there are a few things I forgot. In my native language, when I sung the song, I also forgot a verse. This is why, if you actually want to publish a song specifically, you typically do a lot of takes and publish the best one, and you typically read the lyrics if you're not so familiar with it that you just forget a whole verse. Anyways, we humans are primitive creatures. That is why I so much love the shiny silver. That is why I love looking good in a coat. And that is why I'm making this video. It's primarily for myself, but I'm putting it on YouTube in case anyone else wants to see it. Signing off. So, remember what I forgot? And it's pretty important, so I'm just gonna quickly say it. First thing is, yeah, I write a diary, and I included my godlike powers in the video, because I don't write those in a diary. I only write what I'm thinking about real stuff, or my dreams. What I read to you as an example of what written English sounds like was my dream. It takes up a full page, takes an hour to write. I have a bunch of entries, like 50. Anyways, the important part is the best show I've watched ever, maybe. I watched last month, and it's Oregairu. I relate to the main character hard. You see, though from the way I talk to a crowd, or from the way you saw me talk in the video, I might seem rather extroverted, I am actually very shy. Very. One-on-one, I don't talk to people. The only reason I can give a speech to a crowd is because I'm used to it. When someone makes me, I'm like, okay, I'm doing it. And so I did it, and so I'm used to it, and so the shyness is overcome. But when it comes to stuff I'm not used to doing, oh, the anxiety. I so wish someone had helped me like he was helped. But none have, so I shall struggle on. You also get to hear my voice in a new microphone. A better one, because this is not my phone, this is my... Never mind.